Hi, and welcome back to the Cheeky Crypto podcast. My name's Chris, and I am joined by none other than JB. How are you, JB?
I am very well, thank you very much. Literally just in the door for work, so I can jump on the podcast. I've looked forward to it. I'm starting to get in my groove here. I'm looking forward to recording these every other day. So yeah, I'm in my groove now. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Been super busy. Obviously, we've got so much going on, and it's interesting because we're getting new people jump in the Discord, asking who are we and why are we partnering with their favorite crypto game on Cardano, and stuff like that. So yeah, look, it's really interesting. We've got the partnership with Cornucopius and the partnership NFT mint or sale will be on the 19th of December. So really excited about that. Lots going on there. We went live with our first, crypto course. And when I say first one, Nick's got his Elliott Wave Theory course, which is free to members, but this is the first one that was actually like officially gone live. And this is like how to build a crypto portfolio. So yeah, really excited to see how people sort of get on with that. It's a really well-rounded course to kind of give people more of an idea how to, safely build a decent portfolio and what you should sort of take into consideration and that sort of stuff. So been super busy with all that stuff, and obviously making YouTube videos is it's been a bit of a grind.
Yeah, well, on the portfolio front, I will be doing it pretty much straight after this. So on the next podcast, you will be getting some feedback, and everybody will hear my feedback straight. I will not be telling Chris independently; it'll be coming straight on here. So tune into the next one to know my kind of thoughts on the portfolio builder.
Making
As
me
for
nervous.
the well, there you go. As for the likes of the Discord, we've seen obviously quite a large jump in there recently. As you were saying, I think we're up to about 5,475. So
Yeah.
it's been quite a good jump recently. I've had a good chat with a few of the Cornucopius guys that have came over. They're actually a really good bunch of guys. They like to interact a lot, so that's always good. The podcast is doing well. I think we're about 2.14K now. So we've seen a good rise. We obviously want to see that number going up. So like, subscribe, all the usual good stuff. And obviously the YouTube channel for Cheeky Crypto, that's been doing really well. Also, so this is all good things to see, and we are thankful to see it.
Yeah, I think, we've got a fantastic community that is growing and growing. And, I think it's unusual to see it in this sort of market, really, because the market conditions aren't great. Certainly not favorable, to anybody in sort of the industry that we're in. But, with that said, I think we've navigated the space really, really well. Obviously been ahead of FTX and BlockFi and many of the other failing companies within the space. So there's been lots of benefits to being in the Discord, and I think that's why we're seeing that continued growth. Plus we're partnering with big names in the space. And one thing that I would say is we're not done yet, right? Like, we've done some very, very sizable and very, very cool partnerships, but I will reassure you there are many more in the pipeline, and some very, very big crypto projects that we're going to be partnering with within the coming weeks and months. So stay tuned. And look, I think people are surprised by some of the levels of partnerships that we're bringing in, but this is very much just the start for what we're doing with the NFT project. So super excited about it all. And I mean, just take a look at the artwork. We worked closely with Cornucopius on the race suit. Obviously we did the design, and then they've sort of made it more Cornucopius fitting, in line with everything that they do. And it's come out looking very, very nice. The red does look pretty sexy. But yeah, lots more to come. Nick's Elliott Wave Theory course, obviously there's about 50 members on it so far. Once a few of those have sort of got through it, and we get an understanding of that it's working as intended, and people are coming out of it like being able to do Elliott Wave Theory, on the charts and stuff. Once we got that understanding, it'll be opened up to more of the members, and then in the new year we're opening it up to everybody else to be able to participate in that. So yeah, look, loads going on, loads to come. We've got the real world physical clothing range still to come, and that will all be authenticated on the blockchain as well. So yeah, some
Yeah, I'm
really
looking
cool.
forward to getting my first cheeky crypto top on. I can stop wearing my clothes on the podcast. I can start wearing yours.
Yeah, there's so much to come. I mean, yeah, look, everything's top quality. Like these hoodies, like I can't explain. Like they're so heavy, just pure quality. It's like literally the best material that you can buy, like from the manufacturer that we're using. It's the top quality ones and stuff. So
It looks mega comfy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting mine.
like it really is. Like, you put it on, you're like, wow, like I've just put on a load of weight. but it's all right once you're wearing it for a while. It's all right. It's nice. Okay, so we've got an awful lot of news to cover off, haven't we? Do you want to sort
Yes.
of dig into some of the bits that you've got that you've kind of pulled out that you think the community should definitely be aware of?
Yeah, I'd like to rebuff on an article you've covered a couple of times, and it's CNBC's Jim Cramer. So obviously, we've
That
seen
guy.
loads of FUD coming out from this guy. I'll keep my thoughts on him to myself. It's my personal thoughts. I don't think it's worth expressing them right now. Probably pretty clear anyway. But one of the articles that came out where they says the likes of XRP, Cardano, Dogecoin, and Polygon could imminently collapse, and it's not too late to sell. How much does this guy have to talk bad before he's kind of shut up? This guy's on one of the biggest news channels in America. Well, quite frankly, it's obviously around the world. I'm pretty much fed up listening to this guy talk.
Yeah, like I think we highlighted it in the Discord. I was just like, somebody had mentioned it. I was like, I think he's right probably like 2% of the time. Like 98% of the time, this guy's wrong. I actually did a video on the main Cheeky Crypto channel yesterday. I titled it all up, sell ADA now, question mark. And yeah, look, if you were to listen to this guy, you would have lost so much money. Like, I don't understand how he's still on the television. Like, clearly there must be some sort of level of agenda. Obviously pure speculation, but you can't be wrong that much and still have like a really good following. I think he was talking, was it Facebook or Meta, at 470 something dollars, or was it Coinbase? I don't know what it was, but like one of the stocks, and it was just like, that was a time to sell. It wasn't a time to buy. But yeah, look, it's no different with the projects that he's called out. I mean, in particular, Cardano, they've got over 4,000 smart contracts now, and I know you're going to come on to smart contracts on, I think it was Ethereum a bit later, but that's completely against the trend with other protocols. They've also had the most projects sort of launch in November as well, believe it or not. And on top of that, in the last 30 days, they've had more commits than everybody within the crypto space. So they're the most developing like project in the space. So look, right, if you put your hand on your heart, do you really truly believe this Kramer like guy that it could possibly go to zero? I can't. Like, I can't even bring myself to imagine it getting anywhere near zero. But with all that said, do I see further downside? Yes, I do. Mainly because of the macro environment. But I'm not seeing any of these projects go to zero. I just can't. I just can't see it.
Just lock him in a room with Michael Saylor and we'll all be happy. I think that's probably the best thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could lock them in a room together, and I mean that would make a really interesting podcast, right?
Yeah. Obviously, as you said, you touched on the smart contracts, and there was a little bit of reading up I've been doing on Ethereum for the last couple of weeks. It's a slightly older article, but it's obviously worth to bring it up just now. Now it's about the number of smart contracts that have fell for Ethereum from November, and it fell by 58%, and the average gas price increased by 1.8%. What else do we have there? The number of ERC20 tokens created in the Ethereum network, they also decreased by 58%. Why? Do we see an issue here with Ethereum? I personally see an issue. I think there's not a lot of good for Ethereum. I do use it for a couple of things. Also, we do have gas fees, and I use it for NFTs. I've covered that before, but there is obviously quite an issue here. Blocks per day has only changed by 0.01%. And then the average number of unique active crypto wallets decreased by 7.3%. So there is obviously an issue here with Ethereum. We know there is an issue there. We know that it's not really the greatest of projects. We're going to see Ethereum, in my personal opinion, we'll see Ethereum fall down the rankings over time. It's just really to get what your thoughts on everything smart contract related with Ethereum is, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, look, right, we just mentioned Cardano surpasses 4,000 smart contracts, right? There's a polar opposite of what's going on with Ethereum based on, you know, what you've mentioned there. So look, Nick and myself have always kind of been of the thought process that, you know, Ethereum is going to really start to struggle, right? And you can have first mover advantage, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're always going to, you know, be right up there. And you know, I've been, you know, putting this portfolio course together, and, you know, like doing research on portfolios, you will find that people say you should, you know, get into the market leaders. Well, Ethereum's a market leader, but actually, if you actually, you know, scratch the surface a little bit, you realize it's a market leader, but it's a market leader that isn't going to be necessarily a market leader in 5 years' time. You know, that's not always the way to invest in a portfolio or into projects, right? I really do think that you have to look at the actual underlying technology and the number of commits, how active the developers are, and, you know, many other metrics as well.
But is it purely a market leader because it's so expensive?
Well, I don't necessarily believe that is the case. I think it's been a market leader because it was technically more superior in terms of smart contracts to many others for such a period of time. You know, the likes of Cardano, they only, you know, recently really, you know, got smart contracts, right? So this is relatively new in the crypto space. And yes, you've got others that have, you know, popped up, but they already had such a big market share, and it's really difficult for you to break in. If you consider some, you know, a company like Amazon and, you know, trying to sort of compete with Amazon, it's very difficult if you're a new business to start up a company and, you know, instantly compete with, you know, Amazon. And I think that's what, you know, in terms of crypto, that's what these new projects have been doing, is they've been starting up and they're trying to compete with Ethereum. And, you know, some can do that and some just can't. But, you know, you look at Cardano and you consider the fact that they've got smart contracts now. It's easier to write, you know, secure code than insecure code, like it is on Ethereum with the type of programming language. You consider that it's cheaper to use, and I believe that they're going to have good scaling solutions, good security, and they've got a really strong, powerful team. And, you know, it's not a race. And I think this is what a lot of projects have made a mistake with, is they've raced their projects to market, and then they've just had nothing but problems. I mean, Solana is a prime example of this. All the downtime, you know, that they've had, and maybe there's some fraudulent activity going on there, maybe, possibly, you know, again, speculation, but maybe there's not. And if there isn't, then it's because it's been rushed to market. And, you know, this is what Cardano hasn't done. You haven't seen Cardano having any types of problems like what we've seen with, you know, these other projects. And look, I'm not surprised to see what's happening with Ethereum, you know, losing market share. This is something Nick and myself have talked about for an awful long time. And it's not just market share that they're losing to Cardano. They would have been losing some to Solana with the NFT space, and, you know, various other projects that are eating into that market share. So, you know, I'm not surprised. I expect it to continue. And I, you know, word of warning to people really is, like, just because that, you know, a particular project is a market leader doesn't mean that it's going to be there in 10 years time. So, you know, consider looking at various different metrics, not just looking at market cap of a project. I do think it's important to look deeper than that. We will be putting a really sort of detailed and lengthy course together for how to research projects thoroughly, so you don't get caught out with scam projects and rug pulls and, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, really exciting stuff that we're working on, but it is going to take some time to get over the line, because it's not like a case that you can just go get this stuff off the internet. And, you know, this is pretty much like how we like research projects put on paper. Like there isn't out there for us to just, you know, put into a course, for example. So it takes a lot of time to get it right.
Yeah, it's definitely not a copy and paste exercise. You know,
Definitely not.
this is going into the likes of your brain, how you
Mm.
understand it. And I did touch on this before, that I was looking into the projects that you've perhaps rated 8 or 9% out of 10, and then the projects that you've maybe rated at 0.5 out of 10 or 1 out of 10, and then it's getting understanding of how these projects are built, the teams, the utility, the use case, everything like that for the project. So you're obviously 100% right there. It's getting the understanding of each of these projects. Now, segueing from projects, how we're holding them. Obviously, we're bullish on Ledger, keeping everything safe. And MetaMask, I talk about quite a lot because I use MetaMask. I like MetaMask. And we've recently seen a little bit of FUD coming out about MetaMask and security of the likes of your IP addresses. And it's to touch on that to kind of kill a bit of FUD. It was an article that did come up about how MetaMask were storing IP addresses. And something I just want to quickly read off it there was that the users of MetaMask will not see account information stored if they only check their balances and, by extension, their IP addresses. Only write requests or broadcasted transactions are subjected to this data. Most importantly, Consensus aims to narrow its retention of users' data to only 7 days, after which it will be deleted. And it also states it will not sell user data. Now, to me, it's obviously a very good thing. We want to know that MetaMask is safe, because obviously a lot of people will be storing their projects or assets on there. I do myself. I do, however, back up to Ledger. A lot of projects are easy to move onto MetaMask. It's obviously easy to move with Ledger as well. That's just my preferred way of doing it. I move it onto MetaMask, and it's also backed up with Ledger. It's just, my aim here is obviously to kill a bit of fear, if there is any fear, for the likes of MetaMask. I do still see it as safe. I do still like MetaMask. I will continue to use it. What are your thoughts on the whole MetaMask situation, Chris?
Yeah, look, privacy is a big deal, and I think like with Web3, it's going to change, and I do think that we'll be able to have a lot more control and be able to potentially monetize our own data. As for now, and what's gone on with MetaMask, I think that it's great that they've come on and tried to give more clarity as to what is actually happening, because, you know, there's lots of misinformation, and you do have to take some of the stuff with a pinch of salt. I mean, Nick and myself, we didn't actually cover the news on MetaMask wallet, because we really wanted to make sure that we understood it fully, and to make sure that it wasn't FUD. So we were unable to verify it until, obviously, you know, you covering it now. So look, I think it's one of those things. I think, you know, there's many ways that our data is being used, and, you know, many people don't really understand, you know, that the data is even being taken. I mean, for example, we had somebody who set up an email address, a Google email address, for example, under, like, you know, the Cheeky Crypto brand. And you know, what they didn't realize was the data that Google have been obtaining was, you know, was being stored in the background from Google, like their location, like everything, like, you know, where they go to get their car washed, you know, all this sort of stuff, you know, the houses that they were looking at, and all this sort of stuff. People don't realize how much data is actually being, you know, taken. You know, the websites, the crypto competition websites they've been looking at, all sorts of different things. And, you know, it's eye-opening how much data is actually being sort of taken from people, right, without them even really knowing it, right? And that you're signing all the terms and the conditions to this stuff, you don't even realize. So look, I think it's not a huge deal with the whole MetaMask side of things. But I understand why people, are really concerned and worried about it for those reasons that I just mentioned now, like with Google and the amount of data that, it's getting just because you signed up to an email address, a Gmail, on your mobile phone, for example. The amount of data that absorbs is just unbelievable.
Yeah. Excuse me, sorry. What I will take from there is likes of terms and conditions. I do see that changing. I mean, how many times you click on a site or you buy a game and you have to read through the terms and conditions? It's so long, and I'm guilty of it myself. You never read it. You get to the bottom, you agree, whatever, and you just want to carry on with your day. And I do see within time, obviously this will all change. Not crypto related whatsoever for what as we're talking about right now. It is. But over time, I do see terms and conditions changing. Perhaps that could be integrated into the space some way. Who knows? Time will tell. But I think you have another couple of articles which I'm actually quite interested in talking about. If you want to hit off for the first one.
Yeah, I mean, but before I do it, I really do think that we're going to be going into a world where you're able to monetize your own data, where you're right, the terms and conditions will change, and you'll basically be, able to go, yeah, well, I'll give this piece of data to these companies, and I won't give this data, and in return, I'm going to earn X.
Yeah.
It might be a particular coin or a token, right? So I do think that's going to be very much the world that we go into. So yeah, I'm excited about all that stuff. But the first one I wanted to talk about, how I feel about influencers being one and all. Ethereum Max, the judge has thrown out crypto lawsuit against Kim Kardashian and Floyd Mayweather. So look, I don't want to get into the ins and outs of as to why they've thrown it out, but yeah, I think it's going to be a case of how could they have possibly known that it was a scam, right? They're not crypto people, they're celebrities. One's a fantastic boxer, or was, maybe he still is. And the other one, I don't even know what Kim does. Like, it's just
Don't lie. We know you're a Kim Kardashian maxi. We
yeah,
know you
yeah,
follow the
busted,
Kardashians.
busted. I have no idea what she actually does. Like, I know she's famous, but I have no idea what she does. So
Nothing
yeah,
really.
nothing. Yeah, that's probably why I don't know what she does. She does nothing. Um, but look, I I guess it sets a precedent, right? Because I mean, how do you really, like? Let's be honest, right? We've all been there, right? You see these YouTubers, they might tell you, right? Let's say they're a good YouTuber, and they tell you that it's a paid promotion. Um, you know, how do they know themselves that it is or it isn't a scam? Like, because you can do research, right? I do research. I do research for a living. It's what I
Yeah.
do. I look at the fundamentals. I look at some of these projects and stuff like that, right? And we're taking an example, right? I did research on a team, and the team was impeccable. I found nothing there at all that was worrying. No criminal records, nothing. And and I didn't just look at it myself. I asked other people that I know that are very good at research to also look at it, because this was the first ever promotion we were ever going to do, right? And we wanted to make sure that it was a good one, and no one was going to get like rug pulled or anything like that. Anyway, the team, cut a long story short, the team was impeccable, the team was great, no problems. However, one team member decided to go rogue and drain the pool and run off with the money. You could never research. No, there's no research you could do that would have ever, brought that to attention. So, look, I don't know the ins and outs of this case, but I think there's an element of truth to how can you possibly know that it was, a scam, like without the information, because you're not shared the smart contracts. You might not even understand what a smart contract is and how to read it, right? Even influencers. I mean, there's influencers that don't even know the actual underlying technology of the crypto they're talking about. With big number channels, right? Over 1 million subscribers, and they don't know what the XRPL is. and what it does and how it works. So, you know, you can't expect them to understand a smart contract, you know, like, you know, the code. So yeah, it's one of those things. I think it does set a precedent though.
Yeah, I'll tie it back into Kim Kardashian. The most I know about her is she's on my TV once a week when my wife's bloody watching her, so I'll leave it at that.
Your
But
wife's
talking
watching
about
her.
obviously, oh Jesus. Um, the likes of these influencers, you're totally right there. I don't think the vast majority know what they're getting involved in. We've seen the likes of Shaquille O'Neal, Tom
Mm.
Brady, big high profile celebrities that are involved with crypto. We've obviously seen with everything that happened to FTX that they are now being investigated to an extent. I feel the same thing will happen there. They won't be prosecuted. They won't be followed up with everything that's been thrown against them because they'll play the innocent card. We don't know we're getting involved, and we've got people above saying this, that, and the next thing. So it's just to maybe draw public attention to the cases, everything that's going on, to show that there is investigations happening in the background.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So,
I think it's going to be interesting.
yeah, we also have some PayPal to talk about, and I'll let you hit that one off.
Yeah, so they've just expanded their crypto service into Luxembourg, which I think is the first EU country that they've gone into. This is like, you know, I guess the initial rollout was what in the US for the crypto services. So yeah, it's interesting. They obviously expanded into the UK and now Europe. So look, I think this is a real positive for PayPal. Now, with everything that's going on with the different exchanges within the crypto space, there's a real opportunity for a company like PayPal to get, you know, a big slice of market share here. So eyes on PayPal really is kind of my thought process. I know they're another centralized player, but they're a centralized player with probably more customer confidence around who they are and what they do. And I think that's a good thing for the crypto space right now, to have a company that, you know, is a legitimate company, right, with a history. Because you can't really say that about a lot of the different exchanges in crypto. They haven't got a lot of history. Crypto hasn't been around that long.
Yeah, I like the thought. Obviously, that myself and Mike on the previous podcast, we spoke about regulation, everything else. If you've not checked it, definitely go and check it out. But I feel this also ties into it. You're having these massive centralized exchanges, more and more of them now getting involved, and it's going to tie in with regulations as well. I feel all this is intertwined. I'm very happy to see PayPal moving into Europe. If it's only moving into Luxembourg, obviously a small nation, they will expand, they will get bigger, and we'll see bigger and better things obviously coming out of the whole PayPal in Europe situation. I'm looking forward to it, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely good for crypto. And then the final thing that I had was just around crypto lender Genesis telling clients that, you know, it's working to preserve assets. And basically, the way I read this is be patient now, be patient. Like, but it's not looking good. I've said this for some time. I have real concerns over Genesis and you know, the impact that company can have on the rest of crypto is just immense. So look, if we're going to see the lower lows that I anticipate, it's probably going to be a lot to do with Genesis.
Yep, it's covered it before, the 3Gs, Genesis, Grayscale, Gemini.
Yeah,
When
exactly
these
that.
when this happens, you know, if it happens, but I do think it's more a case of when this happens, we're going to see blood, a lot of blood. We're going to see hellishly low prices. From a selfish point of view, I'm looking forward to it because we're going to scoop up so much. But for Genesis to come back and tell people that be patient with us, we're trying, it's not good enough. A lot of people stand to lose a hell of a lot of money. It's not good enough. These things shouldn't be happening in the space, and I just think it's very, very bad.
Yeah, exactly. There's just, yeah, quite a lot going on, but ultimately I think, you know, we've got a good idea where we're heading. I do see pockets of influencers talking about breakouts, and yeah, look, I expect some bear market rallies. I was one of the first people to say this, right? I expect some bear market rallies, but the trend hasn't changed. We're still heading down, and yeah, look, the bottom's not in yet, right? What can I say? Like,
Definitely. As we're talking about market price, I'm going to give Mike a big shout out here because in the last podcast, he guaranteed the next time we're recording, we'll still be at $17,000. And as I'm looking right now, we're on a very large wick. It's pumping quite a lot. We're on $17,000. So it's a good heads up to Mike there.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we expect a reversal. This is basically generating a nice pocket of liquidity for whales to exit. So, you know, just be aware of what's actually happening in the space, and, you know, don't fall for some of these, you know, fake rallies, bear market rallies, whatever you know, terminology you wish to use. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out, but I'm not aligned. And you see my emojis like this on certain people's Twitter feeds when they're talking absolute BS nonsense.
Definitely. Now, before we do wrap it up, I want to really reiterate my sentiment from the previous podcast also. If you guys are entering a trade just now, please look into your risk management. We've seen a lot of people losing a lot of money. The one we covered the other day was just horrible. We don't want to see this happening. We want to see you guys protecting the money you have, protecting your capital, protecting all your assets. Just please have good risk management, stop losses, all the usual jargon here. Just please protect yourselves.
Yeah, I think that's a really important message. You know, no stop loss. Definitely don't put in a trade. Make sure that you're keeping yourselves safe in the space. You know, if you don't know what you're doing, you know, then maybe you should ask yourself whether you should be doing it. You know, there will be opportunities to learn and people to get I guess some good sort of tips from. So jump into the Discord community. Is absolutely free to join. Link is in the description. No reason not to. Or even drop in the link to the new portfolio course as well. Check that out, see if that's something that, you know, you feel that you can benefit from. The reason why I wanted to kind of put out that course now is, you know, to give people an opportunity to understand more about how to build a good portfolio just in time for when the bottom comes in. When that bottom comes in, you'll know how to put a portfolio together, and you can start to build a portfolio in the right assets in the right way so you're successful in the future.
Yep. One other thing, Chris, absolutely loving the green cable. I bloody wish I got it myself.
Yeah, you know what? It was either green or red. I was trying to keep it festive, so I went with the green.
Yeah.
So yeah. One other thing, I guess, like we just keep, you know, doing this. One more thing. Is we are in Milton Keynes on Sunday for the Christmas meetup. So do join us there if you wish. The link will be in the Discord for you to obviously just give us your details so we know that you're coming. If you can't make Milton Keynes, the following week on Saturday, we are in Manchester. Now, the mill is fully booked. However, if you fancy coming for drinks, let us know in the Discord. And yeah, look, we'll go for a few bevies after.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be in Manchester. I'm looking forward to it. I can't meet London. I've got other commitments, but I'll definitely be in Manchester for the meet. I'm looking forward to that. Don't know whether I'm going to drink it or not. I'm still on the fence. I might not be staying down. I'll wait and see. But I'm really looking forward to Manchester. Looking forward to meeting a lot of the members, a lot of you guys. We've met a few times. We'll have a good laugh. So I'm really looking forward to Manchester.
Yeah, it's always good to meet people, you know, have a couple of drinks and talk crypto, right? With people that you know, are into crypto. It's really difficult, isn't it, in your day-to-day life to chat with people. Like I used to chat when I did, it feels like a long time ago, when I had the 9 to 5 or the 8 till 8, as I quite often call it. You know, talking to people that like they're just like switched off. They don't understand crypto. They don't want to understand it. And you know, it's not really a conversation. So it is good to meet with like-minded people that understand the space. And I think that's, you know, again, another great aspect of being part of a really strong and good community.
One thing will touch on that again is I am now starting to see. Phone just went off. Sorry, I usually put it on silent. I'm starting to see more and more in my day-to-day life people talking about crypto. A few guys that I've kind of met recently are quite involved with the likes of precious metals, your silvers, and things like that. They've got a few things on the stocks. They've got shares in companies, and now they're getting quite bullish on crypto. They're starting to understand it with things I'm relaying to them. They've also joined into cheeky crypto Discord. So they're taking a lot from that as well. So I personally, I'm starting to see crypto getting spoke about a little bit more often, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's good to get some crypto chat during the day. It kind of breaks up the monotony of a day-to-day or 8 to 5 working life. So yeah, good to see it talk about more. And again, I'm looking forward to Manchester talking some crypto with some people.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. So I think we'll wrap it up there. If you enjoyed today's podcast, mash up that like button. We really do appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Tap in that bell, selecting all those notifications. So important so you don't miss another video. And we will catch you in the next one. Take care.